All right, good evening. The time is 5 p.m. It is April 20th, 2026. It's a regularly scheduled meeting of the Argyle ISD Board of Trustees. At this time, we'll determine if a quorum is present.
Leona McDade present.
Josh Western present. Rich McDowell present.
Leanne Artho present.
Matt Slayton present. Craig Hawksworth present.
And I, Sam Slayton, present. We do have a quorum established.
All right, so we have one little activity we need to take care of, one little special recognition before we adjourn to closed session, as we normally do at the beginning. But with all the spring activities going on, there are some calendar conflicts happening tonight. And it is the induction of the Argyle High School National Honor Society, which is a very important evening to recognize our scholar students over there. And 3 of our scholar students happen to be children of 3 of our sitting board members who also have business of the district to conduct tonight. So we're going to have a little special recognition. Mrs. Knowles, I'll turn it over to you at this time.
Okay.
Okay. So they can get a chance to witness this incredible event for their young ladies.
All right. Face to face, whichever direction you want.
Why don't y'all face Miss Knowles since she's going to read the
Okay,
there you go.
that's right. Well, all the candidates, please stand. Thank you.
Good job.
Candidates, it's my honor to lead you in the pledge, which will signify your official induction to Argyle High School, chapter of the National Honor Society. Please repeat after me. I pledge myself to uphold.
I pledge myself to uphold
the high purpose of Argyle National Honor Society.
the high purpose of National Honor Society,
Okay. To which I have been selected.
to which I have been selected.
I will be true to the principles
I will be true to the principles
for which it stands:
for which it stands:
scholarship, service,
scholarship, service,
leadership, and character.
leadership, and character.
May I always seek
May I always seek
the light of truth,
the light of truth,
hold scholarly habits,
hold scholarly habits,
engage in worthy service,
engage in worthy service,
and lead forward in all things
and lead forward in all things
that shall advance
that shall advance
the welfare of my school and community.
the welfare of my school and community.
I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate each of you on this achievement. It is a very significant honor. You will find that when you apply for college entrance or for employment, that college faculties and personnel in the industry recognize this society membership with respect. You may be seated.
Hold on. Oh, no. We got something special. Okay, ladies, if you'll go to the microphone. Oh, yeah. So if you would please tell us your name and your dad's name and your favorite thing about attending Argyle High School, so we all know who everybody belongs to.
Okay. My name is Sawyer Slayton. My dad is Sam Slayton. And my favorite thing about attending Argyle High School is getting to see the warm and smiling faces of all the people and getting to engage with my friends and being in classes that I love.
Excellent. Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Not recess. I heard her not say recess.
She didn't say fine arts either.
Okay, my name is Georgia Slayton, my dad is Matthew Slayton, and my favorite thing about Argyle is seeing my friends each day and learning about the things I like.
Excellent. Thank you. Congratulations to both of you. All right. Next.
My name is Ella Westrom, and my dad's name is Josh Westrom. My favorite thing about attending Argyle is seeing my friends in the morning and probably sitting in my car before school.
Excellent. So it sounds like their experience is a very positive one. That's right. Congratulations, ladies. We're very proud of you, and thank you for giving us an extra little ceremony this evening so we could all be a part of that. Yes, we're going to do a picture if you don't mind. Mr. Heron's going to take a picture.
What was that?
Sit back here.
Are you just doing this?
We'll do a group one, and then we'll let the dads take one with them.
He's put the idea in my head.
Yes, you're going to have to do it. That's right.
Everybody can take a step to their right.
Okay, we'll let them.
easy.
Okay, perfect.
Please.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Good job.
Photo bomb in the back.
Okay. The girls, good job.
Professional contracts tonight.
Yes. Need to ask her about it?
Need to?
Because we can only 25.
I know, that's, yeah. But once again, I'm going.
Yeah, but I gotta read.
So who hasn't always, who's sometimes dramatic. Thank you all. Hey Shannon.
I know, it's,
Just agree.
Disagree with Josh, okay?
That's good.
bye y'all. Thanks for coming.
All right, thank you, ladies.
Buy so many Slaytons.
All right, now the time is 5:06 p.m. and under the authority of the Texas Government Code 551 Subchapter D, the board will now go into closed session to discuss 551.074 personnel matters and public officers, 551.071 consultation with attorney, 551.072 deliberation regarding real property, and 551.076 deliberation regarding physical safety and security. All right, good evening. Apologize for the delay. It's 6:26 p.m. at this time. We have our friends from South Elementary that are going to do our pledges. Come on up.
Good evening, Mrs. Edge.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for having us here tonight. I am the proud school counselor of Argyle South, and I brought some of our 5th grade student leaders from Student Council, and I'm super proud of them tonight. So they're going to introduce themselves. You ready? Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right, I'm Crosby.
And why do you like South?
And I like South because the teachers teach you stuff that is amazing every single day.
My name's Oshri, and one thing I like about South is how nice the teachers are and how much they help us learn every day.
My name's Ava, and my favorite thing about Argyle South is that they always greet you with a warm hug each day.
That's true.
My name is Jackson, and I like Argyle South because of the community we have there.
My name's Abhinav, and I like Argyle South because of the people. My name is Shaderdrew, and I like Argyle South because all my classmates are really nice and kind, and the food is really good.
Very good. Excellent.
Miss Edge, when y'all are ready, you got it.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Thank y'all. We're going to take a picture. Hey, we're staying. They're going to come behind you. Yes, yes. Step up, step behind you. We're going to find a window. Perfect, great job. Thank y'all. Thank y'all.
I'm going Thursday.
Let me double check and make sure. You want me to just put it on the calendar?
Sure. You can tell her that's when you're coming.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Bonnie Barkley, the music teacher at Hilltop, and this is the Hilltop 5th grade choir. And we just came to sing for you guys tonight. I actually only had one song planned, but the choir really wanted to sing two for you. So this first one is just for you, school board. We wanted to share that we appreciated you. And so we're going to start with this one. It's called Who Do We Appreciate? And we'll move on to the second. Okay, y'all ready? We appreciate them, and we had sung that song this morning for our parent volunteers, and they were like, we should sing it for the school board too. And I said, well, okay. So y'all are appreciated. Thank you. This next song is the one I had planned for us to sing. It's called Make You Proud, and it's just one of my all-time favorites, and we hope to make our parents and our school and our families proud as we go through our educational career. Are y'all ready? Okay.
Wait,
You should be there, are you not?
no, we're not.
Okay, then make your pads up here. Switch your room if you need to. Quickie. Okay, y'all. Hey, this way, my dear. Okay, can everybody sing? We good? Okay. in and let the school board take a picture of your pretty faces. Make sure you're in the wind.
Gotcha. Hi.
Great job, Hilltop.
Great job. I'm too.
I think it's important to say that I want to say this. Hold on, you don't go anywhere real quick. Stay right there. I want to say one to everybody, but they're all chattering right now. So. That's understood, understandable. As they make their way out.
You're so welcome. Good evening. Did great.
I like the way you sing your directions.
It's a nicer way to fuss.
Can you share that with us?
I need you to listen. Stop singing, Mama.
Shouldn't be that hard. Great job. Thank you.
I told Miss Barkley to hang on just a minute because I wanted to recognize, and the kids are excited. She said one thing they do is they know how to make noise, right? But Miss Barkley is the Teacher of the Year at Hilltop, so I just wanted to make sure everybody had a moment to recognize her as well. So thank you so much for bringing the choir. It was a wonderful way to start the evening. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Have a great evening.
All right. Again, thanks again to Argyle South for leading us in our pledges and for Hilltop Choir. That was amazing. At this time, Mr. Hawksworth is going to lead us in his penultimate opening prayer.
I don't know what that means.
It's your next to last, buddy.
I know what that means.
Okay.
Bow your heads, please. Dear Lord, thank you so much for all you do for us each and every day. Thank you for the things that we're aware of and the many things that we're not aware of. Please be with us as parents and administrators and board members to do things that are in the honor of you and in the best interest of these students. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Hawksworth. Okay, at this time we're going to move into public forum. We have 2 individuals signed up tonight. Let me take a drink of water real quick and I'll read my paragraphs. All right. Moving into tonight's public forum, please note board policy requires speakers to sign up in person before the meeting is called to order. During this portion of the meeting, board members will listen to comments, but as the designated spokesperson, only the president may respond to the speaker if needed and refer concerns to the appropriate administrator. Speakers can comment on agenda items, but trustees will not be able to discuss the items until they are before the board during the meeting. Board policy BED local provides the presiding officer the ability to adjust the time allotted per speaker for effective meeting management. Pursuant to that policy, an individual's comments to the board at tonight's meeting shall not exceed 5 minutes. The presiding officer may reduce the allotted time for each individual to speak to no less than 1 minute for effective meeting management. Speakers are not allowed to receive time from other individuals. Tonight, each speaker will receive 5 minutes. Specific complaints about individual district personnel are to be processed through the district's grievance policies as set out in district policies DBA, FNG, and or GF. Speakers are not permitted to refer to individual students or employees by name during the public comment period. Additionally, if you have a pending grievance that may come before the board in a level 3 hearing, please refrain from addressing the topic of your grievance except through the grievance process per board policy BED and this board's operating procedures. The board will not allow disruption of the board meetings by members of the public if after one warning from the presiding officer, any person continues to disrupt the meeting by words or actions, the person will be removed from the meeting. Awesome. All right, tonight's first speaker, apologize if I mispronounce, Ariana Poloni. Good evening. You'll have 5 minutes when you begin, and then Mr. Matthew Slayton will let you know when you have 1 minute left.
Thank you. Dear members of the Argyle District Board, my name is Ariana and I'm a foreign exchange student from Italy at Argyle High School. I am very grateful for the opportunity to spend this year here, growing, learning, and becoming part of this community. When I chose to come to the United States, I left everything familiar behind at only 16, my family, my friends, and my native language, to pursue this experience and live the American high school dream. At the beginning of this year, I was registered as a senior, but later moved to a junior status because of the uncertainty about graduation. However, I am still taking senior classes and sharing my experiences with senior students every day. I fully understand that I'm not earning a U.S. diploma, and I'm not asking for one. In my home country, we don't have graduation ceremony, which is also why being part of it here would mean so much to me and all the other exchange students. I simply want to sit down with my senior friends, celebrate with them, and hopefully have the chance to walk across the stage. There are only a few exchange students at Argyle. Allowing us to participate as honorary graduates would not mean anything a lot to us, but it wouldn't take anything away from others, but it would mean a lot to us. I just ask you to think about this from a personal perspective. If your child traveled alone to a new country, work hard to adapt, and dream about this moment, would you not want them to miss it? Would you want them to miss it? I respectfully ask you to reconsider this policy and allow us exchange students to participate in graduation as honorary graduates. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Next speaking, Kirk Rohde. Good evening.
Good evening. I think Mr. Herron made the announcement about people having to sign in ahead of time because my wife was here a month ago and had something prepared to stay, and she didn't know that she had to sign up. So I'm going to first of all start by reading what she wanted to say. Argyle ISD, we appreciate the opportunity to address the board. We have had an incredible honor and delight to host Ariana this past year as a foreign exchange student from Italy. She is definitely a part of our family and has jumped in and tried to make the most of her year abroad. We were disappointed when we learned of the policy with Argyle that doesn't allow foreign exchange students to participate in the graduation ceremony. There are only 5 exchange students attending Argyle High School this year. They all understand they are not completing the requirements to receive an American high school diploma, but have dreamt about participating in the ceremony itself. We have a hard time understanding why this very small number of students wouldn't be able to be considered honorary graduates and simply be given the experience of walking across the stage and hearing their name read. None of them expect to receive anything. They just want the full American high school experience. Please reconsider the policy and allow the students to be honorary graduates in May. That's what my wife wanted to say. When my wife and I were married about 30 years ago, if anyone, and you start to think about having a family, most people say, well, you know, kids are expensive, you know, you have to give a lot of time, a lot of activities, you know, they always kind of try to ultimately discourage you from having too many kids. If they had only told us that you have to go to that many high school graduations, we would have maybe listened to them. But we went on to be blessed with 8 kids. We've had 3 graduate from a high school in Wyoming. We had an exchange student walk through the graduation ceremony in Wyoming. And now we have 1 graduating this year. We have 3 more to go. And we hope, even though I love a good high school graduation as much as anyone does or does not, we hope that you'll consider to make this a part of the international students' bucket list. They don't get, you know, I never imagined that in other countries they don't get dressed up in a gown. They don't throw their cap into the air. They don't do a ceremony at all. So when they think about their bucket list, this is definitely one of those things that we had never thought that Ariana or her friends wouldn't be able to participate. You know, we, as silly as, you know, me wanting to go to high school graduations would depend on how many kids I would want to have. It's kind of silly that they wouldn't be able to walk.
1 minute.
And we hope that, you know, in a lighthearted way, you would consider making an exception, or, you know, whatever you have to do, put an asterisk in the program that except for the Italians, the 2 Spaniards, and the German, everybody else has met the standards of the Texas Board of Education. So thank you for your time. I wish my wife could have been here, but she had plans tonight. And hopefully you could consider this. We wanted to say it a month ago or even longer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that concludes public forum for the evening. Okay, we have a consideration for, all right. Just gonna throw it. All right, I will entertain a motion to approve item 8A as presented with no amendments. Does anyone have any discussion or questions or a motion to approve?
I motion to approve item 8A.
All right, Mr. Matthew Slayton with a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Hawksworth with a second. Any further discussion or questions? All in favor, please raise your hand and say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Opposed.
Okay. And then action item 8B, do I have a motion, I'll entertain a motion to approve that.
I'll make a motion to approve action item 8B as written.
All right, Mr. Hawksworth, the motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Rich McDowell with a random second. Any further discussion or questions? All in favor, please raise your hand and say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Opposed.
All right. Thank you. All right, now we have consent items.
I think so, yes.
All right. All right, for the April 2026 donations, we have ABC fiscal year 2026, number 14, $15,000 for football headhunting fee and Florida-based opponent, travel/expenses. ABC fiscal year 2026, number 15, $1,357 for wrestling Hall of Fame board and overlays, JRE PTA, $3,489 for author visit, silent disco, star student snacks, and popsicle party. We have Miranda Realty, $300 for JRE UIL end of the year celebration, Kona Ice. We have Paragon Marketing, $3,000 for football. Total April donations, $23,146. Does anyone have any questions on any of the consent items?
Could we get a little bit of an explanation like I received about the first one, please? Just to let people understand.
You want to talk about that one? Sure.
The first donation?
Yes.
Okay.
So historically, when the UIL realigns in February, then you set your schedules for football. And I know for many years here, we've had a really difficult time in setting pre-district games. I know Coach Rogers works really hard. Sometimes he can get a game or two scheduled really easily, and then sometimes he's still looking for games. So last UIL alignment, we had 2 non-district games, I believe, and this realignment, we have 3 scheduled. It's become more and more difficult to find those. You want to play against someone that's your caliber, your size, that gives the kids and the students an experience. And so in order to provide those games in the past, I know we've traveled to some neutral sites, right? We've had, for 2 years, we went to Sulphur Springs to play a game as a neutral site. We went to Waco 1 year and the Mary Hardin Baylor, I believe, another year. Were there some others I'm missing on that? Okay, thank you. And so when you do that, the size that we are now, you're talking 7 to 8 charter buses. I think in that information I provided, I looked up the last 2 that we went to. It cost us a little over $3,000 for 2, so that kind of gives you an idea of what it might be.
Just 2 charter buses.
Just 2, and it would cost us. It would take 7 to 8 for an away football game out of the Metroplex like that. So we engaged with a headhunter to find 1 game this year at a cost to the district of up to $10,000, and that is a guaranteed home and home game. So instead of doing a home and then away, you get a home game this year and a home game next year, which means we have the gate for both years. The concessions come in for both years, and you don't travel for that game each time. And so we have actually another game that we need to fill. And so this one is the Booster Club is donating the funds for that particular game. We are still searching for that game and trying to fill the schedule, but that's what the donation is for.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Liz.
You're welcome.
Any other questions on the consent items? Okay. I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent items as presented.
Motion to approve consent items as presented.
Thank you, Mr. Wester. Motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Dr. McDade with a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. Good evening, Mr. Cohen.
Good evening.
Hello.
So, giving you our monthly update, starting with our middle school, Gibson Middle School. A couple of overall shots of the site. And one thing that I took notice of is that you see the parking lots are getting less and less full of construction materials and more and more full of cars. We've kind of got everybody on the inside now working on all those finishes. So that's one thing that's nice to see, is that the parking lot is getting cleaned out, other than parking for labor. In this picture, you can see some sidewalks are forming out front. That is one of the last activities that we're working on outside. Then all the rest of the landscaping will follow that once they're done. Just some more outside shots around the building. Glasses installed. I think metal panels are right at 100% complete around throughout. Our sunshades, you can see in this picture over the windows, they're continuing installation on those. On the insides, where all of our work is really focused now, all the finishes are going like gangbusters. We're starting up units, getting some conditioning going on throughout the building. So we've got tile going up on all the walls. Floors will start very soon. We've got millwork being installed. This is a view of the reception. office reception counter in progress. This is one of our teacher workrooms. Here's some tile that we've got up in the bathroom. So as soon as they get that tile done, the plumber's following in right behind him, setting all the fixtures. In case anyone notices, yes, the mirror is broken, but it's already on the list to be replaced. It was a terrible picture to put in here, but that's what they sent me. Here's some painting graphics going on in the gym. They're nearly complete. Got a few little details left to go, and then we'll also be putting some mascots up in these gyms. They have not started on that yet. This picture is one of our science lab. So you can see our wood casework and our lab tables stacked up there in the left corner. More graphics. This is our athletic hallway down by the gyms. Some more painting. We've gotten our bleachers finished and press box set for the football field. So that's something that's happened over the last month. This picture's of the concession and restroom building and outdoor storage there next to the track and field. And then upcoming, look ahead, lots of finishes. We'll be getting wood floor delivered very soon, so it has to acclimate for a while in the space. So that'll be coming out, getting put in the gym to acclimate before they can install. We'll be starting on our doors and hardware throughout as air gets started up. And then they are frantically working to get out of the courtyard so we can close up the last of the building. We left a little piece out so they can get in and out with equipment. So as soon as they can finish that courtyard, we'll close up that one little opening in the classroom wing. And we're still looking for a July substantial completion date for start of school in August. Are there any questions? Okay. Moving on to Michael Ball Intermediate School. Here you can see foundation work in progress. The slab that's been poured is our storm shelter. That's the gym. They've been working on grade beams, so you can see that happening around. A little better shot of some of that. Underground plumbing has been going in. You can see on the right side all the plumbing stacks coming up. That is the kitchen area. That's where we've got the most plumbing for the whole school, of course. Front drive and parking lot's been poured now, so it's complete. So there's just a little bit of paving left in the back, and then all paving will be complete. A little closer up shot of the gymnasium. They'd started the block on the storm shelter, so they're just on the first course right now, the first 4-foot lift. Ground level shot of that work going on for the storm shelter. And then here's that kitchen plumbing I was talking about, just a direct overhead view of that plumbing going in. So look ahead, we're going to continue grade beams and foundations. Structural steel erection should start, although I would like to say we have suspended construction while we work through the redesign that we talked about at the last meeting, looking at the band hall spaces, art rooms. Some of that underground plumbing is affected. Potentially some of the openings into our storm shelter are affected with those changes. So while we work through that design process, we've told the contractor to hold the work so we can get it redesigned, get it quoted, and see where we land with the fees before we continue moving forward. These will still be the next activities, but it will be a little bit before we get there, so there's likely not going to be any update for you next month. We'll probably still be in that phase of design and pricing somewhere in there. Do you have any questions on Ball Intermediate?
Still looking at an on-time opening?
Yes, we're still looking at on-time opening. It was opening much earlier. Than needed anyway, so we've got the time to do this, but of course we want to get through it as quickly as possible and get back under construction to make sure we meet that date without a lot of trouble.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Cohen.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you. Thanks.
All right, Dr. Carpenter.
All right, so superintendent report, absolutely. Lots of things going on across the district with our students and our staff, and so tonight we are going to go over a few celebrations. We had a couple weeks ago, Senator Tan Parker and Representative Andy Hopper came to visit Argyle West Elementary, and we made a visit into Miss Murphy's classroom. I know I think everybody on this up here on the dais has been in Miss Murphy's room, and while we were in there, Mrs. Gibson was conducting a speech lesson. But they took time to engage with our students in Miss Murphy's classroom, and then they spent some time directly with Miss Murphy in the hallway afterwards, asking her what policy changes really at the state level would help support her classroom, her students, special education educators, special education students better as they get ready for the 90th session. And so we had about a 20-minute conversation in the hallway, and then she followed up with a letter to them and has heard back, and we've had great responses. So we are going to continue to encouraging Ms. Murphy and our other educators to engage with our legislators and our lawmakers, because they are taking the time to come visit, and so we appreciate that. So thank you to West, and thank you to Ms. Murphy for letting us come in the classroom there. We also have our Lady Eagle track and field team. They were the district team champs, and then they just won the area championship this past Friday, I believe, or Saturday. And they are regional bound to Lubbock. The biggest, I believe it's the weekend of May 1st. So really good work going on with our Lady Eagles in our track and field program. We've had several records broken, so very, very proud of them. And then we have Argyle High School boys golf. The whole team, regional champions this past week, and they were out in Lubbock as well. And they are headed to the state golf tournament in Round Rock, I believe April 27th and 28th. So we've got that team going. We have the tennis team was also in Lubbock. We have a lot of people in Lubbock this last week at the Region 1 Regional Championship. And out of that, Julia Leitner is competing. She's advanced to the girls singles state competition May 7th. So we're very excited for Julia as she's competing and finishing up her senior season as an Argyle Eagle. And then we also have the softball team. Our Lady Eagle softball team has clinched a playoff spot. So they're finishing up, and they start by district play this Thursday. They're in a 3-game series, I believe, at Northwest High School. Is that correct? And they're playing Azle, so getting ready to kick off softball playoff season. And then moving to the fine arts side, we've had some choir excellence going on. We've had the concert choir won sweepstakes, so that was a big win for them and the Bella Voce. And then Soaring Star, we had Portia Winfield over at Argyle South. She's an occupational therapist in the district, serving our students with special needs, and we definitely surprised her and caught her off guard when we were over there that day, and the kids were very excited to celebrate Miss Winfield, so we're very proud of her. And then we had a big first this last week over at the middle school, and we had the Texas Association of Student Councils recognize the student council at the middle school for Outstanding Student Council and Sweepstakes Awards. So congratulations to our future leaders there. And they are led by Rainbach and John Frobres. So very proud of them and Ms. Lumsden for what they've done. I know the student council's done a lot of things over there, and they've really had some incredible growth. So very proud of them. We also had, I want to just brag on our principals and assistant principals and our HR department. We had our first ever job fair, March 31st, 28th, 31st, anyways, kind of right at the end of March. It's a Saturday morning, and we didn't really know what to expect. We had 120 want to be future Argyle ISD employees show up that morning, and it was well run. Dr. Daniel and his department, they had it very organized, but I think the principals would attest. I mean, they were the ones at the tables, but everybody wanted to be in Argyle, and I know that's the story we kept hearing from everybody, and they had the opportunity. Athletics was in there, we had some fine arts, and the opportunity to meet all of those people and at least have a chance to shake hands and be introduced. And then some of those, I believe, are finding their way into the district, and you have a short list of those that haven't found a spot yet, is what I hear. So I just wanted to thank Dr. Daniel and his department, and then all, of course, our campus leadership teams. It was well executed. We have district champion UIL Academics headed to the regional meet this week in Lubbock, and they had 821 points total in the district UIL meet. And then One Act Play has advanced. They were the area champions for the first time in 5A, and they're headed to Lubbock this week. So we had a lot of kids and sponsors in Lubbock last week, over the weekend, and a lot of them going this week. So prayers for safe travels for everyone, and we're very, very proud of everyone competing at those levels. And then from enrollment and class size updates, we are, as of today, sitting at 6627, so you can see the enrollments there of our campuses, and then our class size averages as we're nearing into the last month of home stretch and last month of school. Again, for those that have heard this every month, I believe, but those that have not, last year, about this time, the board elected to put about $3.5 million in new positions and filling up all of our classrooms with teachers to get our class sizes down, and so that's been very manageable this year. We know that all of our classrooms are full going into next year, and we will see some growth in those numbers, but it gave us a little bit of cushion going into that. So we appreciate that from our board as being a priority that they heard from the staff last year, and continuing to keep that as much of a priority as possible. And then from just updates, we have Realtor Breakfast this Thursday. So Mr. Herron and his department, we will be hosting, how many do we have already?
At least 30.
Yeah, 30. Yeah, so we'll end up somewhere probably around 40 realtors here on Thursday. So they'll be here, and we're very excited about having them and hosting them. We also have the gala for Argyle Education Foundation this Saturday. So I think there were just a few tickets left as of yesterday. If you haven't, when we get those, it will be at the Reserve at Marty B's, which is the brand new, beautiful facility out there at Marty B's. So we're looking forward to that, and hope everyone can join us. Then on the 29th, we have tailgate and tours. So we're going to have the stadium and AISD ribbon cutting right back here. Special guest will be our girls' state championship basketball team. They will be signing posters and autographs, and so we will have a community event at 6 o'clock. We will have hot dogs, Mr. Herron. What else? We're going to do
Student recognition. Student groups will be doing games.
Student groups doing some games, and then we'll have kind of a dedication ceremony, a ribbon cutting, and then we'll have a special finale, right? Excellent. Okay. So hopefully you can join us. Come out and join us for that. We have a special board meeting on the 13th for all of our spring student and staff recognitions. We do one in the fall, we did one in the winter time, and then we'll have another one in the spring one. And then on the 18th, we will have our special recognition for trustees Sam Slayton and Craig Hawksworth, as they will be completing their tenure as trustees. I believe we have a little celebration we'll schedule, so we'll save all of our speeches for that night for you guys. I'm sure everyone up here will have a few words they would like to share.
You ready, Mr. Westrom?
Mr. Westrom's already written his speeches.
Do this now. Let's do this now.
Yes.
Let's move it up.
So we will that board meeting will be a little out of order, but we will start that evening celebrating and recognizing Mr. Slayton and Mr. Hawksworth, and then we will have our induction with Ms. Wybeline. She'll take care of that, and Mr. Ford and Mr. Dixon will take their places on the board, and so we're very excited for that opportunity as well. So big night on the 18th for our Board of Trustees. And then we will have that same week on the 21st, we will have our graduation, first class of 2026 to graduate in our brand new Argyle ISD Stadium. I know the high school has been working very hard on those logistics, and we look forward to celebrating our seniors that evening. We will also have the next morning Elementary Secondary Teacher of the Year announcement. So that'll be, there's missing a C there, announcement going on. So we'll take care of that, and that'll be exciting. We had all of our campus ones, and then we'll have the final announcement on Friday morning. And then my last announcement is a leadership staffing update. So one of the questions I often get from the trustees when we're talking about recruiting and retaining and really building staff, and what we have here and building a pipeline of our talent is, how do you recognize and identify top talent, and how do we compete to retain those top talent people? And so when we have the opportunity and we see something in people within our organization, we want to help them grow, because they do such an incredible job of helping others grow, whether it's on the campus level or in the classroom level. And so we have a leadership announcement this evening that I would like to take the opportunity to announce. And so we are going to be appointing Ms. Lauren Tullis as the Director of Staff, Student, and Learner Services starting next school year, which then we will be appointing Ms. Hillary Laird as the new principal of Jane Russman Elementary School for next year. And Leanne Rudolph will be transitioning into the District Curriculum Specialist, ELAR, and Social Studies. All three of these ladies have done a fantastic job in the district and the roles that they've served, and they are true champions for students and for teachers, and we're very honored to celebrate them, recognize their talents, identify them as top talent, and to put them in positions to continue to grow. So congratulations, ladies. We're very proud for you. Surprise, everybody. Ms. Tullis, I'm going to give you the mic for just a moment. I'm sure you're never short on words. You probably have a few things you'd like to say. Ms. Laird, we're going to call on you after that.
Good evening. So I am overjoyed about the opportunity to take on this position. Opening and being the principal at Jane Russman will be forever one of my greatest honors. It will be. It will forever hold a special place in my heart, and will forever be one of my greatest honors. But the thing that I preach at the pulpit the most to my staff is about constant growth and being better and the next goal that we're working towards. And it would be remiss for me not to do the same thing. And so often when I would go into my conversations with Dr. Carpenter, middle of year, end of year conversations with her, one of the things that I would often speak with her about is where my next goal is at and where my next opportunity lies. And she sees the passion that I have, and I appreciate that so much in her, and I am so excited to move into this building and into this role and continue to learn and grow. But as I began to have this conversation with her, my very first question was, but what happens at my baby, at my school, you know? And when we began to have that conversation, having Mrs. Laird move into that role was the ultimate choice. She is the best person to move in and continue the great work that has happened there. So I'm very honored and very excited to move into this role, and very excited for Ms. Laird to take the reins at Jane Russman.
Ms. Laird. Ms. Rudolph, come on up, because we're going to
See, I'm providing support already, you see.
Well, congratulations to you.
Hey,
and your
thank you.
role. And I feel the same way. I shared with Ms. Tullis and Ms. Rudolph that they are made for those positions as well. And I want to thank the trustees for your belief in me and our district leadership for this opportunity. And I know I have big shoes to fill, and very cute shoes too. And so I'm committed to continuing the excellence that Ms. Tullis and Ms. Rudolph have established at JRE, and that the students and the community have established. And so I'm dedicated to do that. I also want to thank the campuses that I have been a part of. Currently Hilltop and Ms. Williams, who has prepared me for this role, the staff there, my South staff, my West staff. JRE is the campus I haven't been at, and so it's really an honor to take on this role there. So I'm just very thankful, and I'm ready. So thank you very much for your belief in me.
Ms. Rudolph, come on up. Dr. Jordan, would you say a few words about Ms. Rudolph? Because I know that you had the opportunity to
absolutely
make that appointment.
So for this particular role in curriculum specialist for the district, it's centered on ELA and social studies. And the first thing that came to my mind when I heard that Lisa was retiring is we have to have somebody who has that passion and knowledge when it comes to literacy, because that's where it all begins. And Leanne has that passion and that literacy knowledge. She was ahead of the curve. Before the science of teaching reading was being talked about, she was in my office telling me we have got to make this change to the science of teaching reading before I heard anyone else say those words. She is ahead of the curve. She researches, and it is a huge blessing to have you join us in our department and to serve the whole district. Thank you.
Things like to say? I'm sure you would.
As a coach's wife, I wasn't ever able to stay in a place for more than 5 years. So I'm super excited for this opportunity to let my dreams blossom with such an amazing district, and I'm excited to see The foundation has been set by Learner Services, so where we go from here is just going to be a dream come true. So thank you very much.
Very, very proud for you guys. So thank you, ladies. And I know Mrs. Laird is already going to start going, she'll be going over to JRE some and meeting with staff and getting the chance to build relationships, and then we'll schedule something for the families as well. So congratulations to all of you. We're so very proud of you. All right, so the next presentation we have, it will be, I believe, yes, there we go. So I think all of you probably remember in the fall, I had shared with you that Mr. Saylor was out of our communications department, was kind of given the task of, hey, can you please figure out how we're going to, what the design process is going to be for the logo and mascot of what is now Argyle Legacy High School. And just kind of gave that to him, and what he has done with that process is incredible. It is bigger than more than I ever expected, and so he did some great work with students and some staff and his little committee that he brought together, and he is here tonight on behalf of the committee and the students and everyone to share with you the finished product of that process and remind everybody where we've been and where we are now. So Mr. Saylor, thank you again for your professionalism and just being able to take everyone through this process, because it was well done.
Thank you, Dr. Carpenter, Mr. Slayton, trustees. Thanks for having me again tonight. The last time we were all together was whenever I was presenting this original scope of this original, the scope of the mascot and color transition team. And at that time, the role of the committee was to give you the best amount of information possible going into the decision that you made in December. And we gathered a lot of information from the community and from students and presented that. You made the decision, and then you said, go do it. Get out and start working. So our role, we felt, changed from phase 1 to phase 2. Phase 2, we thought, was to guide the logo design process and create a brand identity shaped by the feedback from students, the community, and team expertise. And I'll keep coming back to that. Our team members on this mascot and color transition team was Mr. Jason Bird, Mr. Rick Herron, this is Hillary Laird, congratulations. Donna Lumsden, Shannon Knowles, Todd Rogers, Heather Sayer, Coach Westmoreland, and Mr. Holly Williams. I wanted to extend my personal gratitude to the committee for actually welcoming me with open arms and never turning down any of my continuous stream of emails, requests, meeting requests, logo revisions, and all the rest of it that went into the 7-month process of going from the idea of needing a new mascot, logo, and colors to the actual practical reality of it. And as a quick recap of the entire process, we started late last September, by putting out our community feedback form. And we got over 1,100 form responses. It was all from East Zone families sent through Parent Square. And in addition to that, our committee and many administrators here at the building and on campuses received, and I'm sure the trustees as well, a lot of feedback from the public in informal channels that sort of trickled back to us. And it was definitely a wide range of comments and suggestions. I think, as you all know, that if you ask 1,000 people what their opinion is, you'll have 1,000 different opinions. And we took that information and we synthesized that into the presentation that we made earlier in the last fall. At that same time, we went before the students and the staff, particularly the students of our East Feeder Zone campuses, and we presented to them and gave them sort of like a worksheet survey to fill out that helped identify the things that they thought they would want to see in a logo / mascot, and sort of what their preferences were for things like color. And we collected terms, we collected sort of a ranking scale of what they would choose if they could choose between some of our top options from the community feedback form. And they were really great. They were really great kids. They were chosen sort of in a broad cross-section of student groups: athletics, academics, extracurricular, fine arts. And in the case of the middle school, we had our first, the students who will be the first graduating class of Argyle Legacy High School. We also went before the superintendent advisory councils with the student and teacher one to just give them sort of a opportunity to hear our pitch and hear what we had to say. And then of course, we had our 10-member logo or mascot color committee team, which I would call, in this presentation, I call the experts. They're the expertise behind this, which is not a small thing, because you may have an idea about what a logo should look like. And in the age of ChatGPT, you can generate a logo instantaneously. But whether that logo works in a distance, whether it's visible, whether it's something that can be made into printable materials, whether it works on a wall, there's 1,000 things you have to think about. And that was probably the most important part of the committee's process in phase 1, was identifying those things which wouldn't work and narrowing it down to options that we could present to you that were the things that we thought were at least feasible, and let you know the ones that we thought were probably going to be the most cost effective, most easy to implement, and the most long-term structural stability of all the different choices that we had. This is just an example. This is our survey. This is when we went to the students and their little worksheet, because you can't put just a regular old survey in front of students and hope that they would ever be engaged. So we put it in sort of a worksheet format in a way that they might understand. And we didn't run this through any sort of complex system to figure out what they were saying. We just read them and aggregated the data and added that to the community feedback form. And once again, that's what we presented to you guys in November. And in that feedback, the key takeaways, when you condensed it all down, was that everybody wanted a really strong design. I mean, that seems obvious, right? I mean, nobody wants to have a logo that they're not proud of, that doesn't have any strength to it. But it was a reoccurring thing, something that they could be proud of. The design they wanted to be distinct, and I think by that they meant they wanted something that wasn't based off another logo or based off of another design. But most importantly, even though many people were split on whether or not they wanted to continue the Eagle mascot or go with a new one, everyone agreed that no matter what, it should honor the legacy of the Argyle Eagle. And that was a very key cornerstone of the entire process as we were developing it. And last, the word that came up more than anything else was school pride, the words. So we were mindful of those components, those key takeaways, when we began this design process. And that helped us have something to bring to the designers when we were getting ready to launch the process. Because when you have designs, oftentimes you have a concept in your head, vaguely, of what you might want to see. But until things start coming down to paper, until you start getting actual things on your desk to look at, you don't necessarily know what you want. Well, as the design process goes along, and you'll see this in a second, those iterations begin from this point, which is an important thing. We came to you in November. We made the presentation. You remember I had all the jackets lined up here. Mrs. Lumsden and Coach Rogers, they both presented to you all as well and had a moment to talk about what they thought, how important it was to have the student voices in the process and hear what they had to say. And then in December, you made your decision at the board meeting, which I'm sure you remember, but I included a picture there anyway. And immediately afterwards, we went to winter break, and when we got back, we hit the ground running by bringing in a team from Pfluger Architects, Tony, who's their design director, and Cameron, who's the actual designer of the logo. They met with us virtually and we laid out our basic requirements and our goals and our aspirations for the project, and we said, this is what we want, let us see what you get. So the design process is actually kind of an interesting one. It's highly iterative. So it starts out with the designer, and in this case, he chose a variety of sort of silhouette and form shapes to try to see if he could distill a picture or distill an image that both conveyed the things we were talking about, but also looked like a Red Hawk. Because when you get to logo creation, unless you make that logo extremely unique and anatomically correct to a Red Hawk, you run into the problem of your bird of prey looks like all the other bird of preys. So he was trying really hard to narrow it down to what it was that made the Red Hawk look like a Red Hawk, and it sort of landed in the sphere of a Red Hawk is a smaller but powerful, sleek bird, so a lot of forward momentum and energy in that design, with maybe a little bit less verticality to it. We did a little bit of color visiting to find out what exact colors will work in the real world. We don't want to get into the discussion of the nuances of colors, whether a particular shade of blue works in print, fabric, paint, thread. There's 1,000 different ways that will all be explained in the branding guide, which is something that we'll produce after this meeting coming into the next couple of weeks, that will give vendors and external users a clear set of colors that says, when you want to put this in paint on a wall here at the district, you'll use this color. And that'll be something that we will produce. As the process went on, we tried a variety of different sort of silhouettes and action shots, and eventually landed on that we really just liked the head portion of the mascot. We liked that better. Some of the other ones just kept landing too close to other logos and other mascots that other teams use, or they just weren't clear at a distance, or they just didn't quite give us the feeling that we wanted. In the design process, as we were going back and forth with the designers, we found that they were kind of heavily leaning into the black outline design, which is something that we didn't specify, but as soon as we thought about it, we saw it and we thought, okay, wait a second, we can't have black in this logo. It has to just be red, blue, and white, right? Because black is the accent color of the Argyle High School Eagles. And the committee pointed that out right away. So we sent back to them a few options that we had found, and that are sort of a duo tone, 3-value, where they meld the colors to make it look like there's an outline, but it really is just a low number of colors. So then he came back and gave us some more options, and you can see that we just gradually further refined the shape, taking the elements that we liked about each time he sent us something, taking the ones we liked, disregarding the ones that we didn't, and sort of gradually getting closer to what we wanted. Once we had it close enough to probably 98% of what we wanted, we thought it was probably time to say that we had made our choice and as a committee. And we started making this presentation, we started preparing, we met, and we came up with the idea that we needed to go back before the student committees, or the student groups that we had met with, to get their feedback again and their reaction. It was astounding. I had one question that I led with on all of these. It was very simple. It was, I unveiled the logo, yay or nay? All yays. Ecstatic, exuberant, they love it. They think that it's a very bold design. They think that it's exciting, and the most common refrain was, I'd wear that on a shirt. We've had a variety of community members who have they were facilitating these groups. We had teachers, we had staff who saw it. I have yet to hear anyone who wasn't extremely overjoyed by the direction that it went. It has exceeded expectations. And I do want to stop to thank the design team from Pfluger for doing an absolutely outstanding job under a lot of pressure from us. Yeah. So that brings us to today. And I just want to make one little disclaimer, is that we didn't have the final 100% complete logo design till today. And we could have put it into the presentation, but we thought it's probably best to just wait until that is completely buttoned up and we've got it set on the website with all the right colors and everything, so that people aren't taking what's on this presentation and going and running with it, finding out they spent a lot of money on something that wasn't quite the right logo. Now, the logo you'll see tonight, for most people, will be pretty much indistinguishable. It will have some variety of different feather shapes, maybe some slight adjustments to line and shape, things that sort of add up to another 2% of the logo. But once again, to the public, I want to remind you that this is not a reproduction quality thing that's going to be distributed here. So even when it appears on board book, I would avoid using it. If you couldn't tell, this process has been 100% collaborative. It was the entire purpose of bringing it to the community, involving the students, and having a committee made up of experts from our staff. And piece by piece, we put this together. And everybody is inside of this logo. Everybody who had a hand in making it, we're all going to be able to look at that and say that we designed it together. So, the Argyle Eagle logo was the basis for this entire design.
You came up with that?
Well,
yep.
That was amazing.
That's it. All right.
That's
Good night.
amazing.
I've got the Uno reverse card right there.
This is it. This is the Argyle Eagle logo. No. So we started out with this design in mind. As I said before, we wanted to look forward, but also be mindful of the past and where we came from. Now, one of the interesting things that the experts in our group, our panel here, they decided that would be, like right off the bat, just they warned about, was being able to display the logos with each other and not have it looked unbalanced, right? So when we started out, we gave the logo a frame. Look at this one. That shape is a rectangle. If you put that shape next to a square-shaped or a circular-shaped logo, and you put it with our other logos, you'll find that it would be highly unbalanced, right? So that was step one, with just realizing that we sort of wanted it to be in that same rectangular sphere, and in fact, to fit inside that exact rectangle. And I want you to pay attention to these elements of the existing logo design, because we'll be revisiting those as we go through the logo design to show you where they are called back in the new design. I'll put that down there in the corner for you. Okay, first off, you can tell right away, it's facing the other direction, right? The eagle faces for you this way, and this one faces that way. That's because if you had them both facing the same direction, it'd be the same unbalanced look, right? It would feel like it was leaning to one side. Plus, you have the added benefit of then the logos can look at each other and sort of be together in a family. And I like that. That's a good image. So I put the outline here and taken it away. And first, I'm going to show you the red section of the logo. This is the first callback section. Now, it actually doesn't call back to the red feathers in the eagle logo. It calls back to the white feathers at the crest at the top. And you can see those three sort of feather shapes in the original logo and also right next to the eagle's eye. And those are what are called back inside of this part of the logo. And obviously, what color does a red hawk have to have in it? Red. And so that section is there. You couldn't necessarily do the red as the beak or focal area because red and that particular color of blue that we chose, the blue is such a higher or lower value color. In other words, it's darker by such a large amount that the contrast would make it look strange if you tried to use red to show, say, the beak or the mouth or the shape of the eye and then have it be accented by blue. It would work, but it would be visually confusing. So that's why, in particular, this section is red. Next, you have those same three crest shapes at the top, those three feather callbacks. But as part of our expert team, they recommended having a silhouette on this form that could be reproduced easily in threads and cutouts, because if you have a shape that's got lots, like if, say for instance, if you didn't have that smooth blue outline at the top, that jagged shape would make it extremely difficult to put that in thread, to make it very small, to cut it into stickers. And so we provided that sort of smooth gradient at the top while still actually having the callback. The bottom plumage of the old logo was revisited in this blue color. Now on the display and on this presentation, that blue color looks a little bit darker than it is in real life. When you see it actually printed out, it is a much lighter color. That's just the nature of computer screens and printing things. But we recalled those same sort of chevron shapes down at the bottom with a little bit of extra movement thrown in and an emphasis on negative space. Next, we have the beak area. This is where I was talking about before, where that blue color really hits. Using that as the basis, you can then make accents. If you notice right away, the difference between these two logos is the mouth is not open on the Red Hawk one. That was a subtle way for us to introduce a visual difference, while we also sort of compressed the shape of the beak to make it more of a narrow beak than the eagle's more rounded shape. And it also has that same callback to the eye feathers of the other one. The eye on the Red Hawk logo is a more slanted shape. When you see it in the final form, it actually kind of has a very nice, strong, aggressive, not angry, but nice aggressive look to it, focused. And I just want to go through one more time before I show you the official unveiling of the logo. This is the red part. That's the blue part. And without further ado, Argyle Legacy High School Red Hawks. We feel that this design brings together the best elements of the legacy of Argyle High School and the forward-moving nature of our district. It's a logo that I think people can be very proud to put on their jerseys and on the walls of their schools, but also one that shares the same common elements that make it part of one family of logos, one family of schools. This is what it looks like with its word mark on it. This word mark was designed by our team, so we can actually trademark this as well and use it. This is a custom drawn font. In the theme of that family of logos, we have them sitting with our District A in the center. And if there's any image that I'd like to leave you with on that, it's of two birds soaring together in the sky. And that is the theme of our logo. That was the design that we chose, and it was the feedback and the mandate that we think we were given by the community. That's the last of the presentation. Before I disappear, I just wanted to say thank you to you all again, and especially thank you to Dr. Carpenter and my boss Rick Herron, and to the committee for the overwhelming support that I've received during this process and the freedom to explore the entire thing as I saw fit, which was a wonderful opportunity and a testament to the nurturing of careers in Argyle ISD. And I want to thank you all very much. So that's all I have.
Fantastic job. See if they have any questions or comments, so don't run off too far. Christopher.
He quit listening to you?
Christopher, they might have questions or comments.
That's awesome.
Fantastic
Great
job.
job.
That's a great job.
Great
And
job.
I love this image. It's a great image, and I like that you put them opposite one another. It's artistically, it's very, very nice. Great job.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Nice job.
It was a great job of keeping us on our toes the entire
I know. It was fun watching them. They're like, okay, how many more? Well done. Thank you, Mr. Saylor.
Okay, Next item, I get to read our Board of Trustees Annual Continuing Education Report. So under the State Board of Education rule, completing required continuing education each year of service is an expectation of any sitting board member. So I get to say has completed, has exceeded, or is deficient in the trainings. The requirements for the trainings are measured the first anniversary of the date of the trustee's election or appointment, or 2-year anniversary of his or her previous training as applicable. So there are 8 training areas for board members: district orientation, orientation to Texas Education Code, post-legislative update to Texas Education Code, team building, additional continuing education, evaluating student academic performance and setting goals, identifying and reporting abuse, trafficking, and other maltreatment of children, and school safety. All right, Mrs. Leanne Artho has exceeded her requirements. Dr. Leona McDade has exceeded her requirements. Mr. Matthew Slayton has exceeded his requirements. Mr. Rich McDowell has exceeded his requirements. Mr. Hawksworth is incomplete. Mr. Sam Slayton, incomplete. I get him on May 20th. And Mr. Westrom continuing with his incomplete status.
Awesome.
All right. Consistent.
My protest of the TEA continues.
Oh, yeah, me too. That's
Yeah.
what it is.
Oh, now they're all here. Now they're, me too.
Some of that continuing education, I got to learn about what they do.
All right, that's all I got.
All right, waste management services.
Mr. Ledford.
Mr. Ledford.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So every month we get lots of operation utility bills, and we review those, and there's a few of us that look at them and make sure everything is working like it should. We've noticed that our trash service has gotten extremely expensive, and we're trying to figure out a way to overcome that. So I talked with a bunch of different districts, and they've since enlightened me that we don't have to follow what's called a franchise tag with our trash. So what a franchise tag is our city, or a lot of cities throughout this area, will have an agreement with a certain trash service, and that city is only allowed to use that trash service and not another trash service. So since we are a government entity, we don't have to do that. So now that we've found that out, we have asked 3 or 4 different waste management companies to give us a quote. And we found that we could save a drastic amount of money going with someone else. So I've found that we've got at least with one of our bids, we've got about $57,000 in savings. I'm not quite ready to tell you who that is because I'm waiting on one more, but as far as the next month at our action meeting, I'll be able to recommend a certain trash service that we would go with, but we'll definitely save at least $50,000.
How many years are you getting on an agreement?
So I want to do a 1 year so that we can do this every year and make sure. I know that might make the cost just a little bit more, but it's not enough to be able to be stuck in a contract for 3 years, because most of them, when you get into a 3-year contract, they have an understanding of they could go up to 7% increase. And that just scares me a little bit to stay locked in with somebody for 3 years. If it's the same with a 1-year increase, even though we might pay a little bit more, we're still getting a huge savings compared to what we were getting.
And the frequency of service will remain the same?
Yes, for sure.
Is it, as far as the percentage of what we've spent, the savings, or is that, we don't want to do those numbers at the moment?
I don't know it off the top of my head, but if you give me a second, I can look it up.
We currently spend in trash service about $230,000 a year.
Okay.
Let's see.
Just 20%.
It's a lot.
20%.
It is, yeah. And I think of 1 year's certainly in a transition
Yeah.
year is a smart approach.
For sure. For sure. It's nice to be able to look at those bills every month to just see where we're kind of spending a little bit more money than we feel like we should, and we always find ways to make it better.
Does this particular business, do they service as another district in our area? Like, and you've gotten feedback that they're reliable?
So one of the companies services North Lake in a few areas. The other company does all of Northwest ISD.
Okay.
So Northwest ISD was using the same company we're currently using and transitioned to that. So.
Any other questions from Mr. Ledford?
No, I appreciate you
Good.
looking at it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I believe I'm up next. This is local policy. Okay, so the next two items pretty much go hand in hand. I'm gonna do the policy piece first, since it's tied to the opening configuration. One of the conversations we've had, we've talked a little bit about FDB local, which is your interdistrict transfers, and there's a sibling clause in there. And that sibling clause, it's written it's actually very restrictive the way it's written, and it really has an unintended consequence on families, because the way it's written is it limits it to just the time that the older sibling is finishing out, and particularly if it's Argyle High School. So if you'll pull up the policy link there. So what this revision would do, just because as we read through it and realized the restricted language and had some feedback on that, it would basically give a student granted a transfer under the sibling provision in a year of an attendance boundary change. So for example, the juniors and seniors at Argyle High School shall be eligible to continue enrollment at that, if they had a sibling, continue enrollment at that campus in subsequent years, provided they submit the annual transfer application and we have room and capacity and everything. But it only applies to the students initially approved under the sibling exception during the implementation year, which would be that 27-28 school year. So an example, if you have a student that is a freshman, is a senior that's going to stay over here at Argyle High School, and they have an incoming freshman sibling, then this would allow that freshman sibling to finish at Argyle High School, because the way it was originally written restrictively would send that student back to its zone campus the sophomore year. So this would allow the student to finish, but it would not take into account anybody below the freshman year. So it's just the sibling that comes into high school with the one that has the sibling exception, they could finish out. So that would be the policy recommended change on this. So that goes hand in hand with the presentation, which I'll go into next, and we can answer any questions. If you have it on now, or we can wait until I get through, because it's going to come back up. So on the opening configuration, we talked about this a little bit a couple months ago, and so I've got an update with you. We sent out a form to kind of went over this. We did some data gathering. We've been looking at gathering information from other districts, how they've opened. You know, we had the parent meeting on the East Side parent meeting back in October. We've been continuing to have those conversations, talking to other districts, and then we created a timeline of parameters, brought that to you, and then we put out a feedback form. Main thing that we gathered from the data gathering is there's really no right or wrong answer. Every district has done it a little bit different, and what really best serves the students, you know, for their district. And our goal was to determine what best serves our students that are going to be zoned for East Legacy High School in the East in the 27-28 school year, and then make those decisions the best we could for those families and how those students are impacted, you know, with different activities that their programs they're a part of. So we did an update with you all in March. At that time, we told you we were going to go out with a parent poll, so we did that to the 8th and 9th graders, which are the class of 2029 and 2030. And so that's who it went to. There were, I think, 302, I believe, emails, or students that were eligible for that email. We sent it March 19th. We sent the second email out March 26th, and then we did a call to action in a third email April 1st, because that due date was April 3rd, and we were trying to get more responses from families. We also review and consider the FDB local, which I just shared with you. And then tonight we're presenting the data from that with our recommendation as a team, and then for you to consider action May 6th at the special meeting. So the data, we had 302 eligible responses of currently enrolled 8th and 9th graders. That's the class of 29 and 30. So for the class of 29, if they were, we asked them the question, if you were given the option to attend Legacy as a junior, what would that look like? And so we had 186 of the 153 respondents. We had basically a 56% response rate. Those of that response rate, a preference within those respondents, 24 preferred going to Legacy High School as a junior, and 76 preferred staying at Argyle High School. We actually had some parents complete it that do not even have kids currently enrolled in our district as well. So then we did a prediction model, and the prediction model to the full group based on that data basically gave, with a 95% confidence interval, gave us about a 22 to 54 students would choose to go to Legacy, and 100 to 131 would choose to stay at Argyle High School. So that's how the juniors came out in that data. For the sophomores, we had 74 of 149 respondents, so it was a 49% response rate. The preference there was that 46% of them would go on to Legacy and take their high school career there. 54 would prefer to stay at Argyle High School. That prediction, running the same prediction model, we would have about 82 and 67 with a 95% confidence interval. That would give us anywhere from 64 to 100 students wanting to go on to Legacy, and 49 to 85 or so staying at Argyle High School. So of the sibling data, 2 confirmed they would take the sibling option in those two classes. 6 were unsure. And then, so that's what led us to review that FDB local, because we know there's probably some more in there, but those are the ones that actually responded. And they said some of that would just depend on what the exact programs were. So in summary, we pulled together a district leadership team, athletics administration, the fine arts administration, the high school principals from middle and high school. And we thoroughly looked at everything. We looked at 9th and 10th and no option, which is the least flexible choice for 10th grade students, meaning they're going to start at Argyle High School as a freshman, and then if they're zoned in Legacy, they would be forced back to Legacy. They would not have the option to complete at Argyle High School, especially, we talked about different things activities they would be involved in. 9th grade, no option, and then selective 10th grade option. We even talked about, okay, well, if you were in marching band, you could have the option to stay, or you were in a varsity sport, but that just became too subjective. We weren't comfortable really being able to define that. We talked about 9th grade, no option, and 10th grade with an option, which is the most flexible choice for the 10th grade students, meaning that if they started out at Argyle High School, they would have the chance to stay, or they could go over to Legacy and spend their last 3 years there. 9th grade, no option, with 10 and 11 option. Ms. Lumsden, I'm going to let her talk in just a minute. She talked a little bit about the upperclassmen logistics of that. And then the 9th and 10th, no option, and 11th with option, and again, had those upperclassmen logistics. And we talked about this, I don't know, y'all, probably an hour and a half, almost 2 hours that day, and kind of going through all those different options based on our data. The non-respondents, they could shift those final totals, but based on those prediction models, we felt like we had a pretty good set of data. And really our projections are for planning, and then we'd have that revision to the sibling exception that we brought in as a recommendation. So with all of that, the recommendation from the district, our team, is for the opening of Legacy in 27-28 is 9th grade, no option, of course, so the freshmen that year, if their zone Legacy, would go, and to give a 10th grade with an option. We just felt like there were too many students that could potentially fall in that realm of, and we talked to different districts that forced them to go, and it just wasn't what was best in some of those kids, because they were already with their march. They might have been marching at a varsity level already as a freshman. They could have already been, in a varsity sport as a freshman, and what that was going to do to some of those students that were competing at a level, and then having to switch, and then to allow for the sibling exception. We talked at length about it, opening up obviously with a little bit fewer sophomores than we had anticipated if we did a forced sophomore. But our conversation, I'm going to let them talk a little bit about the why behind that. It just really led us to open with 9th, 10th, because we had a good number of the 10th, but just not everybody, so they could, if they wanted to stay, they could finish out. And then that's just really a 1-year issue. And then from that year on, it matriculate up, and the numbers are up where they need to be. So Ms. Lumsden, Coach Rogers, who else was in there? Mr. Bird, who all don't mind coming up to the mic, kind of talking through some of those reasonings. From your perspectives, I think, were really important. Ms. Knowles, too. I know you love a good mic, so.
Ms. Knowles loves the mic.
Yeah.
I think it's ironic that the mascot on my side has its mouth closed. But I'm also okay.
Because that's not you.
Miss Wheeler actually pointed that out to me, so she's fitting right in. One thing that I brought up in the discussion was going through this middle school split. Something I've noticed from scheduling and making sure all the students have what they need is if you have a couple of grade levels that are the same, like 7th and 8th is very similar in scheduling and course offerings, but when you add 6th, it's kind of a different thing. You know, they're doing beginner band instead of big class band. There's just different things that come with those grade levels that aren't the same. So I think there's a reason in high school you have upperclassmen and underclassmen. So when you add that junior group, if you don't have enough, and I think the numbers were saying something like 54 is very small. I'd always said like we need about 75. When you add that junior group and upper level classes and upper level electives and practicums and even something as simple as prom. You know, if you're going to high school over here, do you want to do a joint prom? Well, we'd probably have to. Prom's not the deciding factor, but it's just an example of adding that junior adds a lot more other stuff. ASFAB, SAT, the type of counseling they need from their counselors. And the number that the survey showed doesn't really warrant adding all of those extra types of services for that number of kids. So I think we can provide a better service with the numbers by sticking with 9th and 10th grade. I'm all for choice. I want them all. Like, bring them all the first year. It just doesn't work that way when you're opening a new campus.
Okay.
Any questions on that, or just step aside and let
There'll be questions when I leave. I started off with the premise that I wanted a junior option and a sophomore option. I thought that was the best for the athletic department to fit in, find spots to be, start varsity teams and all that. But after a thorough discussion, I realized the challenges that we were going to have academically, and I defaulted to what we chose. By the simple fact is, I thought that the sophomores would come to our building. They may want to stay, and the rules that we were discussing, just admit with her, is very subjective, and I didn't know how to placate that and guide people and lead people into that decision making. So I feel like just giving them option, it gives the kids and the parents an opportunity to make that choice and live with that choice. And I thought that was the better option when we looked at everything that was presented.
And will you talk just a little bit, because we talked about with that doing that option, we could wait a little bit later for parents to have to make that choice, so they would be able to get the fall of their sophomore seasons, kind of taking.
We do. I think when we originally looked at a timeline, I think we were looking at, possibly a late summer or early fall. And I think if we're able to delay that a little bit, obviously your fall sports start in August. Therefore, you're going to look at volleyball. You're going to be looking at cross country, and you're looking at football. But quickly, those basketball teams and soccer teams are starting to formulate. We have preliminary cuts just before the season, just to begin the class period for like baseball. Softball's not currently cutting anybody, but the preliminary cuts in soccer all happen right there. So these kids will have a good picture of where they're fitting in the program, and all that stuff should be out there. They got to be paying attention and be aware of what their surroundings. But I think it gives them a good picture to push that decision a little bit later in the fall, so they have a clean picture of where they're going to fit, either at Argyle High School or choose to go to Legacy. And I think that'll be more evidence to support and their decision making. Is there anything else besides that?
Nope, that was what I would.
Okay.
See if Mr. Bird would kind of share his perspective.
I share a lot of the same perspective as Coach Rogers. When we started this process, I was kind of the same on the junior option along the sophomore option. After our long conversations with the schedule and some of the challenges that we were all going to face, I think we all agreed that that was the best option is the one that's been presented. For the fine arts, it's unique. Like we talked about, the varsity band's different because varsity marching band, we're going to have 70 freshmen participating in the varsity marching band. So a lot of those students will come over here and participate in the varsity marching band, and some of them may want to continue with that. There will be several who will want to go back and start their own legacy at Legacy. And they will be able to have that choice, which I think is great. And so I think regardless, it's going to all the programs are going to flourish. And I feel very confident about that. Any questions?
Well, I have a question for both you and Coach. Okay. I think you answered my question because I was like y'all. The more choice, the better, But when I look at that survey, it looked like the junior option. There really wasn't even that much interest in it.
Mm-mm.
There's not. Is there a space challenge at all at either campus?
Not really.
Okay.
I mean, not to that point, no. Because you're already pulling out. By the time we get to there, you're pulling out the freshmen and then some of the sophomores. So it frees up space over there.
So when you say your marching band, you're saying, hey, I have a lot of freshmen, freshmen, sophomores that are going to participate in marching band, and so that at those transition years, they're both going to be high performing opportunities at both campuses.
Yes.
Okay. Sports, I see a little different. Maybe is your sophomores that are high performing sophomores want an opportunity to compete on a varsity team.
We would assume.
You would think, and I mean, but that, those are, I don't know, man. There's not that many that probably see the field. I don't know, 5 or 8 kids at least.
I occasionally have sophomores participate in varsity football, but it's common in soccer and cross country and track.
Maybe baseball a bit.
Baseball, yeah.
Okay. And so this gives those kids that are high performers the advantage is they could stay if they choose, if that's important, and they can compete in the varsity sport their sophomore year.
Yes, sir.
Where they may or may not be able to do that. Well, certainly won't be able to do that in football. Right. May or may not be able to do that at Legacy as a sophomore in those non-football sports.
Correct. We did have a freshman play varsity football this year. That's a rarity, right? And he played JV basketball and he played varsity soccer, all the same kid. Mm-hmm. But that's not normal.
Do you see this having a potential, if you give a 10th grade option and your high-performing athletic sophomores who want to play varsity stay, is it going to, do you see that causing a little bit of a struggle for Legacy High School to be competitive in the initial years?
Okay, I think I can answer it. So, critical masses, right? So basketball's 5, soccer's 11, football is basically 22. And so the critical masses are going to be there. We have the luxury in January of 27, the luxury of 27 deciding which sports to play and what level to play. So we'll have a better scope and understanding of playing varsity sports. Do I think it's going to impact varsity sports? I think we got to be careful what does impact mean. When we have 5A numbers now. We have more athletes, all right, than we've ever had that I've coached. When we go back to literally 3A numbers, all right, they're not going to be as dispersed widely in all the sports as they have before. So I think they're going to be very competitive. All right, they are going to face a challenge of immaturity and youth, but I think they'll slowly grow through that. I paint a picture more like this. In 5A, kids make it to the varsity, hopefully their senior year, maybe get playing time their junior year. We can attest to that. That's normal. That's what we see normal. When we were that classification, there was many times where a freshman and sophomore was getting opportunities to contribute at a very high level during those years. Sometimes they would be 3-year starters. Mm-hmm. So I personally don't think it's going to delay it. I think with our growth, I think it's going to be just fine. They're going to have to grow organically over there. We're not going to bewitch it and wiggle our nose, all right, and automatically play for a state championship because we're not going to have very many older kids in the building. I think they're naturally going to grow organically. Hopefully, we're accepting the culture that's in our school district, and we just transplant it over there like sourdough bread, yeast, and let it grow and let it blossom right into what we want it to be. That's the whole idea behind it. So I think giving the kids the options to stay here. Just remember, we're already fixed on the option means they're staying. The option means they have an option. So we're really not sure how many kids are going to choose to go over there. Okay, and we're not, in this premise, we're assuming that the good ones are going to stay. All right, the ones that already have varsity positions, they may choose to go over there.
I've seen it happen.
Okay,
Sure.
I mean, it depends on who we hire. I mean, we're going to be a little bit further along in the hiring process. Okay, we've got to hire a principal, if they know the principal, if they know some of the teachers, if they know, all right, coaching staff, anything. All those things are going to be conducive to kids wanting to go over there. Academics, you didn't talk yet. Academics, people have been trying to get into the top 10, trying to try something new in the academic world that they otherwise haven't done are going to be appealing to people. They want to get into the top 10. Because if they're not in the top 10 over here, it gives them a greater opportunity. So I think all those things are going to be appealing.
So you don't think that the 10th grade option is going to be, there's obviously benefits for I'm a choice guy, so I like giving families, certainly those families that are going to be impacted by the transition years. I'm all about giving them the choice. And I see the benefit of that. You don't sit there and say, I don't think this is going to cause Legacy High School giving those sophomores the option to get off to a bad start or struggle. You think there's going to be enough?
I don't think so. Okay. And like I said, when we were over there, our kids did a lot of things. Now, we're 5A. One of the reasons for giving more option is because kids have specialized. There's going to be a natural process to, all right, losing all these specialties and doing a lot of things. That's what we wanted.
Yes.
Okay? It's going to trigger that. That's going to take time. Okay? Just think about the AYSA football player, okay, that moves from 4th grade to 5th grade, 5th grade to 6th grade, 6th grade to 7th grade, and he hadn't matured yet. He's not growing. Okay? He's just not developing. Well, there's going to be more opportunities for him to maybe stay through the 7th grade and 8th grade and find their spot when they otherwise, all right, get overwhelmed when we have 90 freshmen trying out for varsity football. Okay? That's the whole purpose for the second high school, is to create opportunities. But the opportunities have to be taken advantage of. Okay, so let's use... Can
I ask you one?
Okay,
so do you think there's going to be a chance for that? Sometimes you have these very high-performing sophomores that are just really good athletes who can play multiple sports.
As they should.
As they should. And sometimes that can be really challenging at the higher classification because of the coursework and the specialization that goes on.
Absolutely.
That kid may actually want it, because if multiple sport opportunity may be better at Legacy High School than other. I mean, I don't know.
I would like to think that's going to be an attractive feature of Legacy High School.
Yeah.
Is I can go do more than one thing. I mean, that's what got us off the ground. Come to Argyle, you can do more than one thing. How many kids did we know moved in that wanted to play baseball and football, and we made it work? How many kids wanted to be in band and athletics, and we made it work? We made it work. Leon's grandson. We made it work. So I think with that going forward is we're going to hire a bunch of teachers, and we're going to have a built-in principal that are going to make it work, because that's what we're currently doing at Argyle High School.
I mean, it's going to work because of the leadership that you put in place and the parents that buy into the program.
We got to make it work. Yeah. We got to make it work, and everybody, all right, is all in. I get a text. I love the logo. I'm getting fired up. We're talking about uniforms, right? Okay. Well, that's the energy that's going to be required to get this thing off the ground going, right? And parents are talking to me all the time at baseball, softball. We're fired up, Coach. I'm glad. Yeah. I got up at 4:30 this morning. I'm not.
Yeah. Building something can be a lot of fun.
Yeah. All I'm saying is, I've been in the middle of it, right? So I'm not as highly energized about it, but I am excited about it. I mean, the logo was exciting.
So I've got a couple of questions. The projection of the graduating class of 2030 at Legacy High School, do we have any idea of what that number could be?
Yes, I've got it right here.
The microphone now.
I got it right here. Hold on. Going backwards. Right here. So you've got the class of 2030. If did the sophomore option, those were backwards. We'll go 54%. They would prefer Legacy. 46% stay. So if you did the confidence interval, could be up about 100. If that's
is that 3A?
Oh, it's not about the graduating class though. Yeah, so the ninth graders and a 10th grader option is definitely 3A the first year. Ninth graders and all 10th graders would be most likely 3A the first year. But it's only going to be 1 year because it's the middle of an alignment. In 9 and 10, you double that for the next alignment. So it should be most likely a 4A D2 going into the very next year. Is what we're expecting. But that opening year is a 3A, which we've expected all along.
And then the kid that chooses the option to stay at Argyle High School instead of go to Legacy, then that doesn't work out. Is he allowed to go or is she allowed to go back to Legacy?
So by law, we have to let them go in their zone.
No matter when they make that decision.
Right. We can't keep them from going to their zone school. So if it didn't work and they wanted to go to their zone school, they would have the opportunity to do so.
But they only have the one choice.
One time to stay.
To go to Legacy.
One time to stay.
Stay.
Yes.
Right.
One time to stay, provide their own transportation, but they can go to Legacy because it's their zone by law.
Okay.
With transportation.
Right. Okay.
And, he mentioned with UIL, yes, obviously football is the only one that will be the Renegade schedule the first fall. Everything else has the potential to compete at the highest level at the varsity, as long as, we feel like we've got the students to do all those things. So those are all, we're planning for all of that. So it'll just be dependent upon so that's, and I've experienced that same exact opening. No option of 10th graders, all 9 and 10, no option. And I would say, looking back, it probably would have been better for the families and kids to have had that option not at the 10th grade. And wouldn't have really long-term impacted anything. It's just really that kind of that first year that you're.
Ms. Knowles have anything?
Ms. Knowles, do you?
No, do y'all have questions?
Well, you were kind of part of the conversation.
I was part of it, yes. And I will tell y'all, we've gone from one extreme to the other. It has come full circle. The more we talked about it, the more we talked to other schools who have gone through this. That's how we came to this recommendation. We feel like at the end of the day, people get a choice of what they want to do.
And when we did the parent meeting, those of you that were there, how many y'all had parents come up to you even at the end of that meeting talking about, that definitely was the sentiment.
Yeah.
And we were looking for a way to do so, if at all possible.
Yeah, I think the local policy change is the right thing to do
For the siblings.
For the siblings, and I think
That's all the parents I've talked with is about the siblings.
We're all talking the same parent. And it's the same parents.
I don't
We all got that phone call.
But yeah, I think that's great. And I think some of the choices, I tend to favor.
So really, our process at this point, if this is the decision that the board approves, May 6th or whichever decision, then we talked a little bit. We would start in October with our teacher transfer form and our student transfer forms, and kind of do that through the October-November timeframe. That gives us a chance in December for us to review the data, staffing planning, course selection process, so that we can finalize all that staffing starting in February, because you get past February and it's too late. And Ms. Lumpson can attest to that. She and Ms. Wheeler are going through that right now with the middle school. It will not be much different, being a secondary schedule. So we've kind of learned some timeline adjustments there.
Is this coming back on the 6th?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes.
if, for those sibling option families, and I don't know that there's an answer to this, but let's say they know they're going to take the sibling option in their East Zone Legacy, and they're going to go to Argyle High School.
Stay.
But they still have middle school years left. What happened? Do they have to,
Middle school stays in their zone.
they stay in their zone?
Well,
It's only for incoming freshmen.
It's only
For
incoming
incoming
freshmen.
freshmen.
Okay.
It's only if you're heading into high school this 1 year.
Okay.
One time.
So it doesn't impact your middle school because you're already leaving middle school. You're coming into your freshman year. It doesn't matter who's behind you.
Unless you're a freshman.
Like any siblings younger than that.
They're in
are
their
going to
zone.
Legacy.
They're in
It's
their
only if
zone.
you have that sibling gap of that
In 9-10.
overlap.
Seventh graders, right?
Very few seventh graders. It's
subsequent
current seventh
children.
graders are the only ones that'll have an option to
Like
have a sibling exception. And it's just the ones that are tied to it.
Am I thinking of this right, though? I mean, like, so we're splitting middle schools next year.
Mhm.
So you may have a kid that's going into 8th grade next year that wants to go to Argyle High School under the sibling option, but he's gonna be at,
They're going to their zone middle school.
they're going,
They're going to their zone.
then they say,
middle
hey,
school.
I'm going, so I wanna go to Gibson with the kids that I'm gonna go to high school.
Right. They're going to their zone middle school. Their exception comes in for high school only.
So for that 1
Because
year, they
that's
have to stay in
normal.
their zone.
For their
It's
middle school.
normal
Yeah.
to go
Yeah,
to
you don't
different
have,
middle schools.
we'll give
in
you
a lot of
options in middle
districts.
school.
It's too much choice.
Don't overdo it.
I say, call Craig.
Too much choice, yeah. Tell them to call me.
Call Craig, I tried.
Well, I personally want to thank the four of you for
Tried last
working
month, yeah.
together.
Yeah, they've done a great job.
That's very important.
And Coach
that
Westmoreland was-
everybody
he's over
understands
NHS,
everybody's
but-
concerns, and that you all were able to come to a decision or recommendation.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank y'all. All right,
Are you coughing or sneezing?
Let's get into
I don't know
action.
whether to say bless you.
Is this Jeff
Okay, bless you.
So,
or
is
Liz?
this action items?
Yeah.
So for action items 12A and 12B, we are asking you to table that tonight and take no action. We are not prepared to make a recommendation. We will be prepared to bring that back to May 6th, but we need a few more days.
Okay, sounds good, thank you. So we're actually, administrative is recommending tabling 12A
And 12B.
and 12B. Okay. So we'll
We'll
move
just
to
go on to
12C. Which is Dr. Daniel.
This is an action item. These are professional contract recommendations, as discussed at the last board meeting and in closed session. And this is not information only, as it says in the background information, Ms. McGarvey.
Oh, you have action on the
Shot in
agenda
text,
location, you're
yeah.
good.
Anyone have any
Okay.
questions? All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve action item 12C as presented.
Motion to approve action item 12C as presented.
Mr. Western, motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Matthew Slate was a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Dude, Craig, calm down. If you're not careful, I'm
Raise your
leaving.
hand. For the last two items.
For good.
Focus.
All right, so this is the budget amendment that we presented last month. There's no changes from that presentation. Do you mind just scrolling down? Just as a reminder, we had some balancing out there between property taxes and state funding. We also updated this through the third 6 weeks, so it includes all of the first semester. And I think we also talked about that we would probably have another revenue adjustment as we looked at the other 6 weeks as they come in. For expenditures, just some main items there. The winter storm repairs are the largest item. They are in that function 51, maintenance and operations. There's some software, some training, and some equipment that are in all of the other listed there. Either a decrease moving to another function or an increase in the function there. Scroll that page. But the largest one being the storm repairs. So, and that all happened at the auditorium at 377. Are there any questions on that? It still keeps us in a surplus budget.
She's learning.
Little one.
I'll entertain a motion to approve action item 12D as presented.
Make a motion we approve action item 12D as presented.
Mr. Hawksworth, motion to approve. Do I have a second?
12E, sorry.
No.
Oh,
No,
E,
D.
sorry. I'm listen.
Calm down. It's worried about me raising my hand. Dr. McDade with a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
Okay, the next one is purchases above 100,000. As y'all know, this becomes we have these on most agendas, whether they're information or action. This one was, you mind scrolling down? This one was technology 4, and I know this says Michael Ball Elementary. We'll get that updated on any future reports to say Michael Ball Intermediate. But it is the technology and the switches and network equipment that go in that building. It's from the 2022 bond and included in the FF&E portion of that bond.
I'll entertain a motion to approve action item 12E as presented.
Motion to approve action item 12E as presented.
Mr. Westrom, motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. McDowell, second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you. Is it Mr. Ledford?
Hello again. So this is an action item to take action on retrofitting 6 of our buses with seat belts. So just to review last month, the state is wanting us to take action by May of this year. It's 2026, and seat belts aren't required until 2029. So the whole purpose of them doing that is to find out how much grant funding that they're going to be able to give us, or how much is needed throughout the state. So it's our job to tell them how many buses we think we're going to need to retrofit before 2029, and then apply for that grant. That way they'll get all that information compiled from all those districts in the state. And then once they receive that, they'll be able to tell us how much grant money we're going to get. Okay, so that's kind of the gist of what's going on. So with no grant money, it's going to cost us about $270,000. With grant money, which we're definitely hoping that we're going to receive some, it'll be cheaper than that. So
You really hope this is a funded mandate.
So do we approve it pending grant money and then revisit it, future board members?
Yeah, provided the grant.
Revisit it and decide how, if we want to.
Right. This is strictly answering the question for TEA, whether we are willing
This is
to
not approval.
retrofit by 29
Well,
and meet the requirements or not.
And
It's not the actual approval for us to go spend the money.
And also,
We're just
it's
earmarking
required now to put the
potentially
seatbelts
spending money.
in, so it's not like whether you
Right,
can
but
or
there could be
can't do
more,
it.
there could be financing options, there could be.
Right, right.
So that's
There's
what I'm saying,
option.
I don't want to just blanket.
I just want to
money.
be clear, you're not saying, I don't want seatbelts on buses.
No, I'm not saying that.
there's
Okay.
only 6 of them. that
Thank
we
you for
feel
clarifying.
Just clarifying that. It was a little misleading.
So your actual motion is that we agree to retrofit 6 of our buses?
Yes, by 2029.
By
August of
2029.
2029.
Right. We're
And then the
basically
cost will be.
agreeing to comply with Texas Senate Bill 546 by the timeline presented.
Sounds awesome.
If the grant money there, how we choose to pay for it can be determined.
Correct.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve action on 12F as presented.
I recommend, I move to recommend retrofitting 6 of our buses with seatbelts before September 1st, 2029, in compliance with Texas Senate Bill 546.
Awesome. Dr. McDade with motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Matthew Slayton with a second.
Thank you.
All in favor, please raise your hands and say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you.
I have one thing, can I say real quick? I know we tabled, sorry, I wanted to elaborate just a moment on the 2 items we tabled for next, with board meetings now having to be posted by state law 3 business days before the date of the meeting. You're posting those so early, and we weren't able to finish gathering all the information we needed, so that has changed a little bit of how that works.
Okay.
So I apologize for that, but we had to get it on the agenda, hoping we would have everything, because we have to post the agenda so early with the new law, but we weren't able to, so that's the explanation real quick.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, it's 8:26 p.m. We are adjourned.